Hello, folks.
Hello, everyone.
And says, how are you and how did the week unfold for you?
Well, it was a strange transition week, right? We went from Halloween on Wednesday to Christmas season on Saturday. So let's just say it was a transition week.
Transition week.
One day you see people dressed up and wearing all sorts of zombie things and going trick or treat around, and then literally 2 days later you are in a sculpture park witnessing the kickstart of the Christmas season in Denmark. So that's how I am. I am ready to feel the Christmas season. You know, there's 2 months of Christmas in Denmark. November is called let's just call it light Christmas season, because you already start having the Christmas parties. We already have the Christmas beer launched on Friday. And you know, so the light Christmas is starting. Then on 1st of December you have the Advent calendar. You start having gifts every day, right, from 1st of December till Christmas itself. And then obviously Christmas. So decorations, right? I mean, right now I have to start thinking about putting lights outside and slowly get house ready. By 1st of December I should be fully feeling like in a Christmas movie, you know. What about you?
I had a really good week. Last week was very busy. We in India celebrate Diwali. It's a very
Okay.
popular festival. It also falls on the exact same day as I think in this year's calendar, as the exact same day on Halloween. And Halloween
Oh,
is the day of I would say the darkness. Diwali is a festival of lights, just the other side, like contrary to what Halloween is, and with a lot of mythological characters associated with why we celebrate Festival of Lights. And it's a very joyful and also colorful festival with a lot of firecrackers. And during Diwali, it's a week, it's a season for Diwali, so we get into like a 1 week holiday. So if you have any Indian colleagues, no Indian colleagues, they probably would have traveled to India or celebrate Diwali in Denmark. And I guess in my company, we had a day with a lot of Indian costumes. People, even Danes, try to come up with Indian saris and chudidars and all those colorful. Yeah, it was I would say enjoyable, and also exchange sweets. So it was very nice during the week.
wow.
Saturday, as usual, yeah, I just loved the week. Good food, but a lot of sugar, a lot of calories. But that's what we live for. So I
I
think
would
it
like
was
to
fun to.
experience the Diwali once. I mean, it sounds like there's also this festival of color, right? Or the color
Mm,
festival. Is this
Holi.
Diwali? Holy? Is it the
Holi,
same?
Holi is no, they are two different things. Festival of Colors is more like you see the color powders, and that has a story behind it. But Diwali is what is, I would say, popular through the entire country, and it goes by mythological characters and belief systems, and it's deeply, I would say, ingrained in Hindu culture, Hindu
Okay.
religion. Yeah, but it's also now a celebrated thing across India. So despite the fact that it's not just Hindu today, it's just Muslims, Christians, everybody burst crackers and exchange sweets, and we have a public holiday in India. So it's like the festival season of India, I would say.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, but that brings us to yet another episode, episode 5. We haven't even introduced the number. I'm super excited because I've read through the draft article and I've
Okay.
handpicked 3 topics. We will start with the most interesting, subjectively, most interesting part, which is the municipal income tax.
Money, Arun.
Money, yeah, exactly. We
This is
start with the money part.
what you think is most important is money related. At least you're honest about it.
I'm very honest about it. I and it's also the area that I really lack clarity is also the money part. So
Okay.
through these conversations, I would not only educate experts, but most importantly, I would also get, I would say, some awareness, you know. And to start with the money part, the
Yes.
municipal income tax. Let's start with what does Denmark do with commune tax or the municipal tax? Maybe we could start with how does it affect us? What goes in and how does the government play with it?
Well, it's not the government who collects municipal income tax. It's, as the
Mm,
name says, it's the municipal
mm,
governments, or the municipal councils, to be more correct,
mm, mm,
who are collecting that tax, and they're using it to finance. Well, let's just see what goes under the municipality. It goes kindergartens, it goes
mm,
schools, libraries, local infrastructure like roads and
mm,
public lighting. It basically you also have all the people, the benefits, right,
mm,
are also
mm,
under that. People with disabilities. There's several areas where the money are going. Basically, it's for services. Also, your
mm,
administration, right? All the
mm.
services that you need when you go to the municipality
I mean, the driving
to get
license,
your
for
yellow
example.
card. Yeah.
Yeah, health card and driving. Yeah.
Health card, yes. I think the driving license is under the state agency, so no.
Oh, vessels
But
tools, and it's not municipal. Okay.
exactly, yes. Tourism are
Mm,
never run by municipality. Those are like literally agencies of the state.
mm,
But the yellow card, yes, that's
mm,
definitely run by
mm,
local and regional together. Let's just
mm,
say, because technically
mm,
they're issued by the region, not by the
mm,
local. But the people working for the local government are giving it to you,
mm,
and they are the ones processing the data and so on. So you can say both of them have this task, or they're sharing this task. It's quite often that you might find different entities or different public entities who are sharing the same task, you
mm,
can say.
mm,
Also business promotion, right? Every
mm,
municipality has a business department that is in
mm,
charge of making sure that people who want to follow the entrepreneurship path have support from the local
mm,
municipality.
mm,
Tourist promotion of the location,
mm.
so more people come and visit. In
So let's
general,
agree it's the
everything
benefits
related.
and back. Yeah, I will start with this particular part of this. I could see that there is a big table that the article had, and in that article you could actually see a lot of communes and then the amount of tax, the percentage of tax that they collect.
Yes.
I couldn't differentiate. There isn't a huge difference in terms of, let's say, the communal tax, the municipal tax from Copenhagen, which is 23.5, and to the places like, let's say, Aalborg, for example, or Aarhus, it's 24.52. So why are they? First of all, why are they different? Why can't they just have one number? And if so, why it is like who sets these data? Who sets this number? Who determines these
The
numbers?
first of all, the municipal income tax is set up by or decided by the city council of that municipality, or the local
Mm,
council, depending if it's a
mm,
city municipality or a
mm,
village municipality. So it's either a local or a city council who decides, or the local politicians decide the tax rate, because that's literally the biggest income of the municipality. They live out of that.
mm,
Unfortunately, for many municipalities, this is not enough. So they
mm,
depend on basically the state supplementing here and there what's possible so that they can basically survive. But many
mm,
municipalities are literally at the end. So that's why whenever you see that they are raising the income municipality tax, means that they are not doing very well financially. So they need to gather more money
mm,
from the people. So that's a mechanism that municipalities have to be able to,
mm,
because in us in Denmark we have this autonomy principle. So
mm,
decisions should be taken as close to the citizen as possible, and the first level of government is actually the municipality, and they are empowered to quite of a high level, you can say, because they finance themselves.
mm,
They take just most of the decisions that actually govern your day-to-day life. By the
mm,
time you get, for us as internationals, yes, the
mm,
parliament decides a lot of things, especially for non-Europeans, not for
mm,
Europeans.
mm,
But if you were Danish, the parliament will not have as much significance to you as your city council,
mm, mm,
because you care more about if your light on your street is working, if the roads are functioning,
mm,
if the snow falls down, someone goes and collects it, if there are events happening on holidays, so there's something happening in your community, if there's support for your business, if you know, that's what you care about.
I get it.
It's things that directly affect you in your day-to-day life, so you're not
Mm.
going to care so much about, okay, some larger framework laws.
I have a sense of feeling that, for example, I live in Gentofte, and if
Yes.
I see how many people live in Gentofte versus how many people live in Copenhagen, it's a busy, I would say, city. Most busiest city is Copenhagen. Let's agree, for example, and
Hmm.
the amount of work that the government or the municipality has to do is, let's say, twice or thrice, maybe, for the cleaning or moving trucks, or let's say clearing up infrastructure. The cost of maintaining city versus cost of maintaining, let's say, a far off state varies, right? But they collect the same numbers. And why it has to be the same when, let's say, a commune like Farum, it's not as populated as it is, but still has almost the same number. Does it have any direct impact to that number? Maybe I'm understanding
So,
it differently.
you're saying that if the population of a municipality impacts
Impacts the
the tax
percentage.
rate,
Yeah.
yes, the lower the population, the higher the tax rate.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
it you have to understand, just because there's fewer people doesn't mean there's fewer teachers, doesn't mean there's fewer educators. Yes, there might be fewer, but still there's still quite enough to need quite a
Mm,
decent budget for you to be able to run
mm,
that municipality.
mm,
So no municipality does well if they have very few people, especially few people at work, because
mm,
it's not enough just to live there, you need to work. So
mm,
if you work in Copenhagen, but you live in Gentofte, you're gonna pay your
mm,
tax in Gentofte. So Gentofte is doing well
mm,
if you convinced you to move there. So
mm.
lucky Gentofte.
What if, let's put a hypothetical scenario. I live in Gentofte, but
Mhm.
I maybe have an apartment somewhere, let's say in Hall or Hall, somewhere in that place.
Mhm.
Where do I pay my tax? I still own some property in another commune which collects a different number. Will I still be paying the tax in Gentofte, or is it double, or how does it work?
No,
If I
your income tax goes to where your current declared residence is.
it's
So
not where
whatever
my
your
property
residence
is.
is, nothing, because your properties, you're gonna pay property tax to those municipalities. That's another tax you have to pay
Mm,
to
mm,
local municipalities, but not
mm,
income tax. Your income tax
mm,
is related to, because your deductions are also related to one single address,
mm,
is
mm, mm,
transport deductions, for example. So you cannot,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That way, I understand now. Okay, I'm a bit aware now. Yeah, yeah. So what is the fuss about the new municipal changes? Is it something specific, or does it
No,
have
I mean,
impacts too?
I just wanted people to be aware. That's why I included it. I wanted people to be aware that your tax is different depending of where you live in Denmark, and
Mm,
I want them to understand that they have the power as people living in that
mm,
municipality to influence the tax level
mm,
in that
mm,
municipality. So, for example, if you vote for people that will, I don't know, support higher tax or lower
mm,
taxes, or at least to explain and find out why are you now paying more from your salary? What's the reason? Are
mm,
they is because they are
mm,
saving a school from being closed? Is it because they are
mm,
saving a few bus lines from being closed?
mm, mm,
Why are they increasing it? So people should question it. You shouldn't just
mm,
accept things from the way they are. That's not how Denmark functions. Denmark is built upon the idea of questioning things, making sure to understand that you are part of the conversation. So
mm,
okay, your municipality decided to raise your tax by 0.7%. That's
mm.
high.
That's high. Yeah.
That's high. Like, you saw that most of the raises are zero point 0.0. Nobody dares to say one day 1% increase.
Mm, mm, mm,
That's a
mm.
lot of money, but
It is.
that's political suicide. So everyone plays with 0.06, 0.07, because people, sounds too little to bother. But when you
Mm,
take 10 crowns from there, 10 crowns from there, 10 crowns every month, then it gets to a decent amount that you can do something with, like
mm,
saving a
mm,
school from being closed, for example. So
mm,
you see, for municipalities, this is a mechanism to ensure that their finances are well equipped, and also people to understand that the municipality level, where they have the right to vote and candidate for. If you're
mm,
European, you can vote and candidate from day one while you're in Denmark. If you're
mm.
non-European, after 40 years, you have this right. You don't have to be a citizen to be able to
So,
influence.
so the municipal elections, I can go and vote and also participate in these. Is that what you mean?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So the municipal elections, I can just go and vote for municipal
Yeah.
elections, being an expert. Okay, I've never realized this. I should become more aware.
Arun, you
I've
should
read
run for
somewhere.
elections. Be the first international ever elected in Gentofte. I don't
Mm,
think I'm quite certain that Gentofte never had an international elected as a city councilman.
hmm.
Think about how many thousands of internationals there are in Gentofte, and
Yeah.
you vote by selecting a person on the voting ballot
Mm,
in Denmark. So there's at least more than 100 candidates. Usually
mm,
the votes are so split that you can get in with 600 votes, personal
mm,
votes. So if you know 600 people in Gentofte, Arun,
mm. I can
go for
influence
it.
them. Mm.
No, you can get their vote
Uh,
And you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be in the city council,
Mm,
making history in Gentofte. Being on the posters will encourage a lot of internationals to understand. Hey, we can do more than what we do today.
mm.
It can have quite a very
Interesting.
positive impact in that direction.
But it is also, I would say, I see these posters in city centers, and I've always had this question. Maybe I should watch more of Danish television to understand them in detail. But I get an impression that there's a lot of voices, expat voices in the city, and very few voices if you go, let's say, outside Copenhagen or the greater Copenhagen area. Then you find yeah, less and less expats, less and less expatriate candidates. Yeah.
But you don't find any candidates in Copenhagen either. To the shame
No.
of Copenhagen, which has 68,000 internationals, there
Okay.
never has been an international running for elections for the city council.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Okay. Oh wow.
Shame, shame, shame on Copenhagen people.
For people listening to this, it is not a hate
No,
video. It's just a fact.
but I
Just to
mean, come
clarify.
on, guys. You're 68,000. One of you has the courage to stand up and represent.
Mm,
You easily get someone elected. You could close your eyes, put your name out there, say you're international, and then you're literally going to get in.
mm,
It's the easiest possible place to get elected in Denmark. Somehow, no. And you know what's funny? If you come to Juland, if you cross the
mm,
bridges, to the
mm,
so-called, Udkants Denmark, to the
mm,
farmlands, you'll find a lot more internationals who took this step in front and run for elections in
mm,
various small municipalities that nobody heard of. But
mm,
yet that happened. That history has already happened in this side of
mm,
Denmark. What's happening
mm,
down there? Odense, nobody ever bothered. So from the moment you cross Fredericia in that
mm,
direction, zero. Not even one
mm,
single international running in that direction. Besides, there was one running in Slagelse, one Romanian
mm,
guy,
mm,
Roskilde. I think those are exceptions. Yeah, Slagelse and
mm,
Roskilde. That's it.
mm,
And there was a Frederiksberg. I remember last time there was a woman in Frederiksberg running for elections as well. Okay, three
mm,
places. Fine
mm.
enough. Three.
Yeah.
But okay, even Frederiksberg was faster than Copenhagen. Just so you understand. So
No, no,
if you
I'm
know
getting the
anyone
big
in
picture.
yeah,
Mm,
if you know anyone in Copenhagen, get them to do this, especially if they have a good profile and they will be a great representative for us internationals in Copenhagen. We should have someone there. It's just
It's also for the people listening to this podcast here. They should also be, I would say, motivated or have the drive to just show up. So, all you listeners looking forward to get inspired from this conversation that we're having, then go nominate yourself for the election.
yeah.
I actually have to be more, I would say, aware about political situations in Denmark, because then I become more and more involved. I also gain my know-how, I would say. But I think it's interesting when we say there's no expatriate candidate in Greater Copenhagen. Wow, I could not even believe. And when you say there is more in Jutland compared to Zealand, it's also surprising.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, I know we
The-
broke the ice in Aalborg. We were the first ones in
okay,
2007,
okay.
13, in
Okay.
2013. But since then, many years have passed,
Mm, mm,
so it was enough time for Copenhagen to catch up with us. That's just a little bit of rivalry between the
mm,
north and the capital. There always has been
mm.
a rivalry between the north and the capital. One way to get votes here up north, just say something bad about Copenhagen, and you got yourself a couple hundred votes easily, just like that.
100 votes. So they're like a hate story.
Not a hate story. Just say something like, "Oh my God, those
Uh,
people in their, I don't know, fancy apartments and
mm,
chai latte lives,
it's a
they
lot
don't
in
know
this.
real Denmark. They don't
Mm.
know real Denmark, where we make the pigs and the bacon, you know."
Point. Yeah, that is municipal tax, and I think we also dive deep into political not parties, but yeah, situation in municipal elections. Let's dive into another topic, which is
Yes.
about this time it's about the hooligan culture that was mentioned in the
It's not
article.
about money, Arun. How is that possible? I really expected your second subject to be about money again.
Again, okay, we will end up with the money again. I hope, I promise that we
I
have
don't think there's more subjects about money, so I understand why you couldn't find another one. But hooligans, huh?
yeah.
What do you think hooligans are in your mind?
I have the same question. I know I've seen a lot of media, and also some of my colleagues usually mention. if there is a match between FC Copenhagen and Bonview FC, we expect to have a lot of, let's say, these fan fights or rival clashes that could also be demonstrated in stadiums. And I kind of understand, but I don't know what exactly hooligan means. Is it like a cult, or I don't know? Is it violence? Is it groupism? Is it extremism? I don't know. I don't know.
God, no.
It sounds negative though.
Yeah, you can say so, but it's
Hmm.
a hooligan is a if you go you look at Britain, it's basically like a term to define organized football fans within firms. Like,
Okay.
you create a firm, and
Okay.
then you basically
Oh,
fight for honor with other firms to score honor points.
what is honor
Uh,
points?
Street cred, you're
Okay. It's okay.
so you're standing on the street, your level of influence
Hmm.
on your brothers. I know what a hooligan is, because when I was 16 I was a hooligan as well. I used to be part of a firm, for me, I had anger issues when I was 16, right? So I had
Okay.
to find a place to get better, and
Okay.
that was the best place, because you got to really leave the match. When you go to a match, you don't sit and just watch, you live it. You stand, you're half naked, you scream, you
Scream
sing,
crazy. Yeah.
you beat
Yeah.
the drums, you throw with fireworks and stuff. It's like
Basically,
it's
it's
live.
like a crazy style, crazy energy or adrenaline rush.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So that's the idea, and then you go out there and you fight for honor. You basically, if a rival firm comes and takes away your flag, so they beat you up, they get your
Oh.
flag, then you're out. You're completely, you're from that moment on, you don't exist as a firm. So it's the end of you as a hooligan.
Hmm.
But if you manage to defend the flag, then it's fine. So
Hmm.
every time different firms try to conquer new territories by saying, okay,
Yeah.
I see that this firm is meeting at this bar all the time. Okay, we're going to take over this bar. But to take over, we need to first make sure that they don't exist anymore. To not exist anymore, we need to get the flag from them. So then they come. I remember once we were in after a match. They came three trucks, like three buses with 300 people. They surrounded
Oh
us
my
from
God.
every direction, and they got us in the middle, right? And obviously we didn't survive, and that was the end of our firm. Um, we lost.
Okay.
We were three firms in that
Hmm.
bar that night. All
Hmm.
three got destroyed at the same time.
Destroyed meaning destruct the physical properties as well, or is it just the removal of flag and then keep their flag
They took
instead?
they beat us up and took our flag.
Ah, that's miss.
Well, that's the idea of it, right? You have to have some the challenge. Otherwise, if they just
Hmm.
come in and they just take the flag, what's the point?
Okay.
So you need to
Wow.
have the it's like sport, it's same thing.
But it's not ethical though. Sounds so unethical.
But you don't attack
Right.
civilians.
Okay. As long as
So
you are not having the FC Co or Copenhagen or any other club, sporting club on the match day, so we are good to go, I guess then.
no, but
So-
the problem is some people misunderstood what means to be a hooligan, and some people started to act like gangsters and
Hmm.
act like
Yeah.
gangs, and they forgot about the old style, the owner
Hmm.
style. Now it became more about I don't know the Danish hooligan scene, obviously.
Hmm.
In Romania it was more about honor, and you would go, and the worst thing you could do to another firm's
Hmm.
city is to go to
Hmm.
their city, and for example we would take a bus prisoner, right, and we use that bus to go through the middle of the city to show them that, look, we took over one of your public transport just to be transported directly
Hmm.
to the stadium, right? And everyone will be like very angry from the side that we're going straight through the middle of the city, and that's
Hmm.
dishonorable for them to allow another firm from another city do
Hmm.
that in their own territory. So that was the whole idea of it. But
So,
I
but
feel
it's not a fan club though. It's not a fan club though. It's just a
it
firm that
it is like a fan club.
an organized fan club to have
Really,
demonstrations and across so just
to
show
live,
superiority.
yeah, I guess, but not superiority in terms of
I mean
don't see it
mob.
like in a racial way, but see it more in a,
Okay.
I'm stronger than you.
Yeah, it's like a match day we just show like let's see who wins today. and let's see who's
Yes,
the mightier of the game. No, no, I get the point. The
exactly,
context is still competing for who is stronger in terms of match, and not just physical force. Or of course, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I understand
Of
that.
course, if your
Okay.
team keep losing, then there's no
Hmm.
point to for you. You have nothing to
Yeah,
defend. So if your team keeps losing match after match after match,
yeah.
there's
Then
nothing
you
to fight with
lose.
other firms
Then
because
you,
you have zero honor to fight
yeah,
for.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
that's literally what happened
Yeah.
to our firms anyway. We we didn't exist anymore.
Hmm.
But at the same time, our team went to second league, and from there on, the whole culture of hooliganism died in the city.
Hmm.
Simply just like that.
Do you follow sporting? I mean, football clubs. Any? Do you follow any clubs in Denmark? Are you a fan of?
I mean, I
F-
support Aalborg. I'm a local patriot, right? So of course
ah.
I'm going to always support Aalborg. But I know that Aalborg is going through a generation change, so we
Hmm.
cannot claim any more championships. I mean, we did the
Hmm.
double, right? We got the
Hmm.
cup and the championship here in Aalborg.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
for us, it's great. We also
You
have
mean
a
the Superliga? You mean
yeah,
Superliga? Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hmm.
We also
Hmm.
have hooligans down here, and we have a
Hmm.
firm, but I'm not
Hmm.
part of it. I'm too old for it.
Hmm.
I no longer have those anger issues.
Hmm.
But one thing that concerns me with the whole hooligan thing is that I'm just wondering why it got out of hand, right? Like, why is it because it's no longer fights in between firms? Is it because they're attacking, I don't know, civilians on the
Hmm.
street, and then just because you were, because probably in Denmark, I guess it's easier to buy T-shirts of a certain club, and people misunderstand who you are. Okay, I
Hmm.
can understand why problems can arise
Hmm.
in there. Yeah, fair enough. But
Hmm.
what concerns me is a bit the hooligan register. The fact that they consider making it public so people know
Hmm.
if you are a hooligan or not. And
Hmm.
then I feel like in Denmark that can have huge
Hmm.
changes on someone's life, right? Let's say you were
Hmm. Hmm.
17 or 16 or 19 and
Hmm.
you were a hooligan once, but now you're 35, you're
Hmm.
a mid
You
manager in
have
some
family.
company. Yeah,
You have responsibilities. You don't have anger issues, so you're
yeah, and then out of
basically,
nowhere, you see
yeah,
some newspaper publishing your name.
yeah,
Oh, how would your coworkers, your family, your react to that? I feel like it's gonna
yeah.
destroy a lot of lives.
That's also like
Uh,
personal identity, right? What I actually observe on these match days, when I travel and I see a lot of say patriotic FC club or FC Copenhagen or Bonview, they come in groups and they leave in groups, and that's
okay,
celebration. It's also good that even in India we have fan culture. I mean, 1.4 billion, right? It's usually freaking crowded when you have a match day. Traffic jams everywhere. We just it's uncontrollable on match days, especially when we watch cricket matches. It's very popular, and I'm a fan of, let's say, Chennai Super Kings, which is one of the most populous and popular franchisees. We
okay.
also have this yellow versus blue rivalry. The Blues are actually the Mumbai, which is also a very popular sporting club. That is kind of, FC Copenhagen's colorish. I subconsciously I thought, okay, yellow is my favorite color because
So
I've been
you're
following
Brondby fan,
sporting clubs. Bonview. I once said I think I will go with Bonview for some reason. And then immediately my colleagues started judging me. Ah, those guys, I don't like them. And like, I don't know the history, but she judged me on that day, and I was like really feeling like bad. Okay, what is it about Bonview? And then it's not one person though; it's a lot of people that say. But I guess fans are fans. But if
I
you
mean,
said if it goes beyond control, it makes sense that then it is no more hooligan.
but it's not
It,
just a Brondby problem. I mean, you cannot
uh,
just say, "Oh, it's Brondby." It's also FCK. But I
yeah.
feel like because you are in an office with a lot of people probably living in Gentofte, they will never support Brondby. It's Brondby is the working class team. You will have
Okay.
never been supported by people living in where you live. To be honest, you do
Okay.
live in the more upper middle class part of Denmark. Uh,
Hmm.
FCK is a it's a more conservative, more the team of the
Ah.
richer people. It's always been.
Okay.
So you,
Oh wow. So we have
yeah,
this class segmentation in even in football sporting
yes.
clubs. My God.
Every club has a
Oh,
history in that direction. I mean, any person that comes to you, even
that
in
is
Denmark,
it like an
even
identity issue? So if I associate
yes,
myself with Bonview, they will identify me as like, okay, this guy is that person.
yeah.
Wow. Then it's not that different from castes or grouping people, right? It's so unfair. I
Well,
mean,
it's unfair or not unfair. It's part of how people perceive other people, right? So, in the end, it
so
you
they're
also
not actually coming to watch a match. They're coming to be part
be
of
part.
a tribe, no
Yes,
matter who they're playing against. I guess so.
mate, you have to understand in Denmark, even the club that you support in UK can define your identity. So if you come and
Oh.
say, "Oh, I'm a Manchester fan," and then the guy that's next to you, he's from a working class, he's a social democrat, he'll be very offended and be like, "Dude, Liverpool is the only one," you know.
Oh.
No, I'm not joking. You know, it's like this. You know, the working class football team is Liverpool, so you cannot
Mm,
go in a working class bar and start saying, "Hey, Manchester City, especially. Oh my God, you're gonna be beaten up." So
have to
yes,
be careful with what I say in clubs or
it's about
yeah.
identities. You know, people try to build their own identity around different things. It can be, it's
Mm,
not just, ethnic identity.
mm,
It's also football club identity. It's a political
mm,
identity. In Denmark, it depends on the political party that you support, how you make your wedding.
mm,
You know, it influences the traditions you have at your wedding based
mm,
on which political party you support or
mm,
you've been part of.
mm,
You know, so here it's like, you take, that's why many people are not so open to say, "Hey, I'm from this party," or "I'm from this party," because
mm.
immediately they, if you are a
Put a
Venstre, you
label
will
on
never,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
they will never feel comfortable networking or really like supporting or working with someone who is red, right, if you're a blue, and so on. So it's the same like football, political parties. I don't know, maybe even music, who knows? I don't know much about music, but I have a feeling even that has a
yeah.
its own
but
tribes and
but I don't actually understand if let's say for example if I'm in an interview, my hiring manager is supposed to be let's say an FC co-fan, and then he says, "Oh, so what match do you watch recently?" I said, "I loved Bond playing last match against FCK." Then probably he's going to judge me, but I hope it doesn't affect my employability. I don't know.
that's
I
your
mean,
risk, and probably should
risk.
not answer such, I don't
Yeah.
know, private questions so easily in an HR
It's
interview,
not a,
to be honest.
that's interesting. That's interesting because in India, of course, we take pride in telling that I come from this place. We have a pride in language, a pride in identifying that we come from this place. And it's funny that I actually see the opposite when I hear from you that it is pride for everybody to say I come from one view football club, or say I'm a FC co-fan or diehard fan of let's say Midtjylland or let's say Viborg FC for example.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, but that should be the case. I mean, there should be. I remember one of my colleague. He took a Bonby flag and then he placed that pole in where he sits, because I think it was 2 years ago where Bonby won a league, and then he
Oh,
celebrated by bringing the flag and also yeah, just to show that he supports his club. I loved that. That's a sign of, let's say, wow, celebration. In my place where I come from, it's also huge. I'm actually thinking of making a podcast just for upcoming league, just to we talk about this a lot of times, and it's also it's never a taboo to actually talk about this and show our, I would say, it's not just enthusiasm. It's like emotion for us.
no, but
Color
it's
is
not
emotion.
taboo. Not taboo. It's more like you share this with your friends, you share this with people at a party, you share, but you're not going to share this with people that might be biased
Mm,
against you in
mm,
terms of decision making power, because we are
mm.
humans, and then we start thinking, we use our biases to kind of make decisions, to kind of
Yeah,
perceive people,
I get
regardless
that.
if you pretend to not or yes. But
Mm.
I mean, I know a lot of people say, "I don't have biases, I don't see color."
We all judge. We all
The,
judge within fraction of a second, and that's also like
yeah.
a lot of psychologists say,
So
judge.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends with whom you share it, right? If you're in a
Mm,
place where you can celebrate and enjoy, I'm the guy who came at work with a flag that
mm,
shows strength. Like, I can
mm.
say I'm a hardcore Brøndby fan in a Gentofte thing, but if probably the guy doesn't have any interest in promoting, right, anytime soon.
No, he I think he left the company, and I think he had a good opportunity. Doesn't mean that he was fired. I think he was
No,
also a very good
no,
friend of
but
mine. But I
yeah.
guess no, it was coincidence that what you said, that he's no more, not working with me. But I think I like. He's also a military guy. He's from the army,
Okay.
ex-army, and I think I have a huge respect for him. That is interesting. So a lot of information about hooligan culture, but do you see the landscape going towards people being disturbed, the civilians being disturbed about all these fan
I
mobbing
feel
or?
like I'm starting to think it's a problem in Copenhagen between FCK and
Mm,
Brøndby. And because of that problem there, somehow the government reacts and decides to make common rules for everyone.
mm,
That's how it is.
Okay, and that
So
there will be more stricter rules, I guess, than these
it's
matches.
basically they want to make this face recognition software so they stop hooligans from literally entering the matches.
Ah, okay.
So basically, you take away the main thing that makes them a hooligan. So that's yeah, that's how it is. And then they want to see if it's legally possible to publish the hooligan register. They didn't promise they can do it because they actually have to
Mm,
find a law that allows them. It goes against several European directives to do that.
mm,
But yeah, so I guess that's the idea. The idea is that they're afraid that the hooligan environments are being used by gangs to train their youngsters or to recruit from among those environments. And because
mm,
we have a gang problem in Sweden,
mm,
they're afraid that we also have a future gang. So basically, we are like in the future, Denmark might have a gang problem because Sweden has one today. And
mm,
therefore, we should make everything possible to reduce the chances that they have places where to recruit potential people from.
mm, mm,
Therefore, any places where violence is being demonstrated, like a hooligan environment, should be strictly restricted so that chances for gangs to form in
or,
Denmark is reduced.
or
That's
organized
the
crimes or organized hate crimes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
It
the, like the
reduces.
whole thinking
Holistic
line
view.
in the policy line. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So
And that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. There's also a lot of
it's
stringent security devices that are going to be installed. And I don't know if these
exactly.
infrastructure are everywhere, right? Maybe in Copenhagen, in Parken, maybe. I don't know if it's applicable in
Well,
all
they will
stadiums.
force every club to install such things, so it doesn't
Mm,
matter.
mm,
I mean, all the main stadiums they cannot force this on a third league
mm,
village stadium because that would be maddening. And second of all, there is no hooliganist culture down there.
mm, mm.
There is more of a problem between in the. I heard there is an issue in the children's matches where parents start beating up referees.
Okay. Is it true?
Yes, the referee union has made a statement about it that they got tired of parents either
Mm.
verbally abusing the referees or literally taking things because they burn harder than their children on the sidelines. It's like, my child, he was supposed to score that goal, but you stopped him. He's his future to be the next Messi and Maradona. Why? Come to me. Oh goodness, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a bit dangerous because a lot of internationals are working actually as referees in Denmark,
Mm, mm,
and unfortunately they are also in the midst of all. So it's
mm.
the worst thing is to be a referee. I was a referee here in Denmark,
Oh,
and then to have a parent come screaming at you in Danish. You probably in your second year in Denmark, you have no idea what the hell he's saying.
that's good for you that you don't take it emotional or personal because you don't understand either.
It's like,
You'll be
what
like,
do you
what's
want?
here do?
Problem is when they are like more older parents, they are like weaker than you and they don't dare to attack you besides verbally. But then there's
Yeah.
some guy like Viking genes in him is like, oh my god, I am not gonna escape this match. So like slowly at the end of the match, go as fast as you can from where you came.
Wow.
Have you ever
I
tried
haven't
to?
heard.
You said you're into football, right? So why don't you try to be a volunteer referee to see how it is?
I know the rules, but I've never played enough football. But I know one of my colleague. He used to also do a referee. His child, I think, his kid, he plays for junior, I think, division, and his child was also selected to go and play in Portugal to get trained from Portugal, and
My goodness.
yeah, and he's very very talented. We had this company football once, and I was trying to dribble the ball with him. He just like within a fraction of a minute, I think he just took the ball and he dribbles like the South Americans. It's not like the Danish way of playing. It's very different because I've seen a lot of videos him being playing. He has control of his ball and he tries to, I would say, have more possession than the rest of the players. In fact, it's so contrasting to the rest of the team. So all the team players pass to him, even though he's not the striker. He plays like the midfielder, but he has a lot of control and he is also very vigilant where to pass and where to through pass. And but I guess my friend would have actually had the similar experiences somewhere where people are yelling maybe at the referees about maybe some judge being offside or offense or something. But it's a very strange incidents, when parents try to beat or let's say threaten
verbally.
or verbally. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean
yeah,
that's how it is. Where you burn for your child, you really want your
yeah,
child to
yeah.
succeed, and when you see
Makes
that
sense.
if you can find a fault in the referee for the mistakes of the child, then you're gonna go for that. It became a very competitive culture, and it's quite unfortunate turn that's taking in the Danish society that
Mm,
competitiveness has become a lot more a
mm,
thing. The Yant alone has kind of kept our heads down and like, okay, don't overestimate, don't overreach,
mm,
be average, don't be too much.
mm.
Unfortunately, be too much has become the new thing in Denmark. So the new generations that come now are a lot more competitive. They
Yeah.
want more, they
Also,
want desire higher, they run for more.
yeah, but they also see a lot of immigrants coming in, and then I know for a fact that a lot of immigrants, they are let's say their parents, they school them, say you need to study more, you need to be taking these competitive exams, and this is one way of saying they also get inspired. The Danish kids are also getting inspired from what other cultures are doing, and then they have, I would say, indirectly or directly challenged, right? Now you see a lot of expats children's getting into top schools, and yeah, that competitiveness gets inspired from
It's rubbed off.
probably international, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rubbed off. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's not it's not great because if this reflects on the higher society, I mean, Denmark was the idea is that we are a community. We
Mm,
help each other thrive, but we don't
mm,
try to stand out too much because it's not about me; it's
mm,
about us.
mm,
But now it's becoming way too much about me, right? That's why people
mm,
are
mm,
more and more people are. If you look at Liberal Alliance, right, the idea of let's reduce taxes, let's make it easy to become rich.
mm,
A lot of young people are supporting such
mm,
rhetorics in Denmark, and that's dangerous for the future.
mm,
Because the reason why Denmark is looking the way it is today is
mm,
because it has been a society that has put more access or more priority on the idea of community. We are
mm,
one. We
mm,
help each other. We thrive together. We don't leave anyone behind. But we
mm,
because the effect of people rushing to get rich and getting more for themselves means others will have less. It's simple.
mm,
It's just one bag of money. If you take the whole bag for yourself, then 10 other people will not ever reach that bag, so they will never have
mm,
it, right?
mm.
So I feel like there has to be a balance in things, moderation in things, and that's why Denmark is where it is today. It's not the American model of capitalism to the extreme. If you look at
And
America now, it's not the country to follow.
it's not a country to follow, but unfortunately, there's a lot of influences from American societies that takes place in the products teens choose, programs teens watch, and also there is a lot of these policies being changed because, yeah, I think it's a lot of influx already. Maybe the idea of actually having enter-law is a good thing to have, but I guess there's a lot of, especially if you see Copenhagen, very international, and students who study in schools are mostly internationals, and if you see a Dane studying with an Indian or Indian with Chinese and Lebanese, or you see Ukrainians, and then the child feels like, okay, she or he is getting grades, I should also excel. So that, and the other way is also possible, right? For example, an Indian gets to improve her skill in presentations. I've never done presentations in my school. So only when I actually passed my school, I was actually, I would say, involved in presenting something. But in Danish schools, I mean, we are getting off track from the topic, but I guess it's inspired from both cultures and trying to get an average, and that is very normal in any influx of two different societies or two different cultures, right? And but the idea is to also, let's say, have the mentality of us and not myself, or for the gains, or I'm competitive, I would say I'm producing more, so why can't I have the majority of the share? That is again American society, right? and
Yeah,
and
but
i
that's
don't know i
dangerous
don't know how to
because
advocate. Yeah.
unless you're gonna build a wall from four
Mm,
sides and live in a bunker,
mm,
disconnected from the rest of society, that's the only way you can truly sit and enjoy your benefits. But at the same time, you still need someone to make sure there's water running to you, there's electricity running to
mm,
you, there's the stores are still working. That so this is such a I don't understand when people search for this idea. I need to have
mm,
more for myself,
mm,
and then something will happen. I'm not sure what.
mm,
But if you amass way too much and you make everyone else suffer because of you,
mm, mm,
then you haven't done much, unless, as I said, you buy yourself a private island,
mm,
and I don't know, you get some other people to join you to serve you there, and then you disconnect from the rest of society and hope nobody will bomb the
mm,
world, because you still
mm,
live on the same planet. And
mm,
regardless, even if you run on your little island, unless you're going to build a rocket and go to another planet, then there's not much you can do about it, right? Because if the rest of us destroy the planet with pollution and whatnot, climate
mm,
change will just happen, and then your little
mm,
island will be underwater sooner than later. You see, there's no escape from community. There's no escape
mm,
from society. That's what some people don't understand. So if you
mm,
wish that you do well at the expense of others, that's the wrong approach.
mm,
There's a reason why US is where it is today as a society. One of my friends went there recently, and he said literally you go from one street to another, it feels like you go from 21st century medieval times, 21st
oh,
century zombie land, medieval times, 21st century. It's incredible how the same city can be so segmented, and it doesn't
mm,
feel like you're living in the same country.
mm,
I don't want that for Denmark. I mean, that's not why that's not how the Danish dream works like.
mm,
So,
mm,
but let's see how it evolves in the future.
yeah,
I think there's many people who want to defend Denmark the way it was,
mm,
and many internationals who want Denmark to stay the way it was, because we came here for the ideals that made Denmark what it is today. So of
mm,
course we're not so inclined to be like, well, we came here, now the country doesn't look the same anymore. Time to leave to where?
mm.
Where is left?
I agree. And I guess time flies, Narcissus. We're almost
Yes.
heading to end of the podcast today for episode 5. Thank you for enlightening me with a lot of terminologies and also awareness to municipal tax, hooligan culture, and of course policies. And we ended up with communal mindset. I think it was interesting. How did you feel so far?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I enjoy having a place to discuss about such situations,
Mm,
and it's always fun
mm,
to have the chance to go deeper in one or two subjects. You see,
mm.
we spent 50 minutes on literally 3 subjects maximum.
Yeah, yeah.
Time goes fast when you go deep into any of this subject, but it's
Mm,
fun. It's
mm,
it's Denmark, it's the country we
mm,
live in, and it's a good idea to make sure others understand as well what are the possibilities, what are the opportunities, and what can you make with your own
mm,
2 hands happen in this country. Because luckily
mm,
the whole idea of organizing yourself, building a community, fits very well within the Danish narrative.
mm,
And it really feels like you want to be part of here. So
mm,
the more involved you want to be, the better.
great. And for the listeners listening to the podcast, like Narcissus mentioned during the last episode, if you want to be part of this conversation, we might have to consider maybe adding one more to each of these episodes. If you would wish to be part, you can reach out to us, and maybe we could have a theme around what we should talk about and then have some fruitful discussions, and I could be kind of a moderator to see where it leads to. What do you think about this, Narcissus? Because we find it is interesting to have interactions more and
Yeah.
different faces maybe.
As I said, we are doing this recording at 8 in the evening on a Sunday. So that's why we are where we are, but it's fun, right? So
Yeah,
I enjoy this. Is super unscripted, as you can imagine,
it's a raw
because it's
talk. We don't
literally
have any scripts
raw
here.
talks. Yes, that
Yeah,
is.
unfiltered
That is the
conversations.
best.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's without alcohol. Can you imagine? In 2024, Denmark, a podcast
Only
happening
water.
without us having a glass of alcohol on our table to encourage the conversation between us. No,
Yeah.
we do not need alcohol to discuss about things we love to discuss about.
As long as we stay to the facts, and also the perspectives are also important. Okay, that brings us to end of this conversation. Thank you, Narcissus, for being on the show,
Thank
and
you.
have a, yeah. See you.
See you next Sunday.
Yeah, sure. Bye.